Hi, my name's Pete Swiderski. Today we're going to be talking about a handy little device called the circle of fifths. Another name for it is the circle of fourths, but either way it's a very helpful and useful thing to tell you which sharps and flats you'll find in any given key. You'll also be able to see a couple of very important things that'll be useful for us in jazz improvisation. So let's talk about how this thing is set up. So in this one I have on the page, it's called the circle of fifths, and it has two sides to it. It has a sharps side, and a flats side. So here's our sharp side, here's our flats. Now the reason we're calling it a circle of fifths or fourths kind of depends on which way the circle is going. If it's going this way, then you'll notice the distance from this note, C, to this note, G, is called a fifth. So from C to G is a fifth. Now the way it works and the way to understand that is if you take a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and you start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can see that from here to here, this interval is called a fifth. So 1/5. Now, if you go the distance from G to D here, you'll notice that this interval is also a fifth. And then from D to A, a fifth. From A to E, a fifth. From E to B, a fifth. From B to F sharp, a fifth. From F sharp to C sharp, a fifth. Now, on the other side of the circle going this direction, you'll notice it's not a fifth anymore, it's a fourth. So the distance from C to F, and again if we go on the scale, C to F, this interval is a fourth. So this is the fourths side, and it's also the side where the flats occur. So C to F is a fourth, F to B flat is a fourth, B flat to E flat a fourth, E flat to A flat a fourth, A flat to D flat to G flat, and G flat to C flat are all fourths. So that's how the circle is set up, moving on one side fifths and on the other side fourths. Sometimes you'll see the circle exactly opposite, where the right side goes to the flats and the left side goes to the sharps. It doesn't really matter as long as you're aware which side is fifths, which side is fourths. Now let's talk about why and how to use the circle of fourths. So when you're seeing key signatures on music, you'll see this at the beginning of a piece of music. It'll be in between the time signature and the clef sign. So you'll see treble clef like this. Oops. And then you'd see 4/4 time here. And then right here you would see the key signature. So it may have 1 sharp, 2 sharps, 3 sharps, whatever it is. You get the idea. So that's your key signature. That's how it looks. Now let's figure out what the whole thing means. So if you are looking at a key signature and it has 1 sharp in it, right here, the good news is the sharp will always be F sharp. So in a key signature, if a key signature has 1 sharp, the sharp will always be F sharp. And then you know if it has 1 sharp F sharp, that is called the key of G. So 1 sharp equals the key of G. Now it doesn't matter which instrument you're playing or which country you're in. If you look at a key signature and it has 1 sharp, that sharp will be F sharp. And it'll be called the key of G. This also applies to bass or treble or any of the clefs, no matter what clef you're in. If it's 1 sharp, it'll be the key of G. Now here, if it has 2 sharps, it'll be the key of D. If it has 3 sharps, it'll be the key of A. If it has 4 sharps, it'll be the key of E. If it has 5 sharps, it'll be the key of B. If it has 6 sharps, it'll be the key of F sharp. And if it has 7 sharps, it'll be the key of C sharp. Now you might be wondering, what happens if we go above 7 sharps? Is that even possible? Now the answer is no, and the reason is quite simple. If you imagine a major scale, we'll go with a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, C major scale, G, A, B, C, and then number it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You'll notice that there are only 7 distinct pitches in a C major scale. The 8th pitch is actually the same as the first pitch, but just 1 octave higher. So if you were going to sharp all of the notes in it, you would only find yourself going up to 7 sharps, because the 8th sharp is really the same as the first sharp. So the maximum number of sharps you'd be able to have in any given scale is 7. And that is why our circle of fourths in sharps only goes up to 7 sharps. The same is true on the flat side. If you have 1 flat in a key signature, that flat will always be a B flat. If there's 2, it'll be B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, A flat, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, etc., all the way until you get to 7 flats. Now, the key signature, the name of it for 7 flats is C flat. And then G flat for 6, and for 5 it's D flat, etc. So let's talk a little about these key signatures at the bottom that are kind of doubled up on top of each other. The name for this is called enharmonics. Now enharmonics means they sound the same but are spelled differently. So here on the piano, I'm going to play for you a C. D, E, F, G. So there's a G. Now here is a G flat. Here's an F. Here's an F sharp. So if I play a F sharp and a G flat, you'll hear it's the same note. F sharp, G flat. F sharp, G flat. So it doesn't matter how it sounds necessarily, but it matters how it looks on the page. One would look dramatically different. One would look like a G with a flat next to it. The other would look like an F with a sharp next to it. So these keys are called the enharmonic keys. So if I was playing a song in 5 sharps like this, and I was playing the exact same song but in 7 flats, your ear wouldn't be able to tell you which was which. Your eyes would be able to see, oh, that song's in 5 sharps. Or your eyes would be able to tell you, oh, that song's in 7 flats. So those are the enharmonic keys. D flat and C sharp, you're going to be either looking at 7 sharps or 5 flats. F sharp and G flat, you're going to be looking at 6 sharps, or you're going to be looking at 6 flats. And again, your ear won't be able to tell you because they are enharmonic. So those are your enharmonic keys. Now, last piece of the puzzle down here is the order of the sharps and flats. The good news is that the order never changes. So earlier I said the first sharp is always F sharp, the second sharp is always C sharp, the first flat is always B flat, the second flat is always E flat, and this remains true. If you look at the bottom here, you'll see our exact order, our exact order of sharps and our exact order of flats. So the first sharp, there it is, F sharp, and then the second sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. So if a key signature has a B sharp in it, you know that there's only one key that it can be. It can be the key of C sharp, because C sharp is the only key signature that has that B sharp in it. And over here, if a key signature has an F flat in it, you know that there's only one key signature it can be. It can be the key of C flat, because it's the only one that has an F flat in it. Now, something for you to notice here concerning these is the sharps and the flats are moving in fourths and fifths. So notice the distance from F sharp to C sharp. F sharp to C sharp is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be up a fifth. And C sharp to G sharp is a fifth, to D sharp, to A sharp, E sharp, B sharp. Now, conversely, the B flat to E flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, is moving in fourths. And E flat to A flat a fourth, A flat to D flat to G flat to C flat to F flat, moving in fourths. The other thing to notice, because they're moving in fourths and fifths, they're going to be exactly the opposite of each other. So this one ends with B, and this one begins with a B. One's a sharp, one's a flat, and then you'll notice that they run exactly opposite of each other. Another thing to know about the circle of fourths that's very useful is the distance from one side of the circle to the other, from C to F sharp, straight down the middle. This is actually the farthest point, F sharp is, it's the farthest point that you can get away from C on a piano. So if you looked at a piano, or if you look at any scale, you'll see C right here, you'll see C here, and the scale's D, E, F, G, A, B. If you want to go what's called equidistant between C and C, in other words, the point that's exactly halfway, the exactly halfway point is going to be F sharp. If you go to G here, you're going to be closer to this side. If you go to F here, you're going to be closer to this side. So F sharp is exactly the halfway point. Now this is important when we get into improvisation later. This is going to be useful for finding tritones and using them as substitutions, but that's another lesson for another day. But this goes straight across. Any point across in the circle is the point farthest from that. That's called, whoops, I did that one wrong. That's called your tritone, or your sharp 4, or your flat 5. It's going to be that particular point. That's very important. Hope this was useful for you. The circle of fourths, circle of fifths, every good jazz musician has this memorized 100%, so that you know which key you're in at any time. And this will be very useful later when we're playing in modes, because playing in modes really simply means that you're playing in one of these major, one of these major keys. You're playing in one of these major keys, and you have to know which key it is in order to successfully navigate through those chord symbols. We'll get into that later. Hope you enjoy. Thanks.